Good morning, everybody. As some of you have noted, the subject of today's session received two-page coverage in Yediot Ahronot, which must mean it's very important. I'll get to that later. I've been asked to tell you or take a few minutes to describe the process and the system as far as young scientists are concerned. The process of recruiting young scientists is the following. First, we actively search for young people that we believe have the potential to develop into world fame and prominent leaders in their field. As Daniel mentioned, we do not ask what they are interested in doing, we really ask how good they are or how good they are likely to become. They are recruited after a reviewing process. They receive a startup package. We discussed about that yesterday. And they launch their independent research program for a period of 5 to 7 years. At the end of that period, they are again evaluated by a very thorough peer review process in which we approach leading scientists in their research area all over the world and ask them, has this young man developed to, has he made substantial contribution to his or her field, how he compares with leading people in his age group, and most important, will he be qualified for an associate professor position in your own institute? And in the vast majority of the case, to our delight, the answer is definitely yes, and then they are promoted to associate professor with tenure and become part of the Weizmann family. Now, the best analogy that I have to this process is that of car race. We go out and recruit the best young drivers we can find. We provide them with fast cars, the best cars we can have. These are the startup package. Startup package is not enough. You have to provide them with technical support, core facilities, infrastructure, and this has been discussed again. So around each one of these, there is a whole spectrum of scientific support, staff, and facilities. I just have noted that there is a Marlboro commercial here, and I hope it will not get us into trouble with FAMRI. The Flight Attendant Medical Research Institute funds a lot of research here, and they are somewhat sensitive about this issue. But then we tell these young people, go out there and compete. So they go out there and race with the McLarens, Ferraris, and Williamses of the scientific world. They should be skillful, they should be original, they should outsmart others, they should do things that will distinct them from the pack, to make them ahead of others, while trying to avoid accidents. And as I said, in the vast majority of cases, they end up as winners, and this car race with some international recognition, which of course make us all a better place. Now, one of the comments that I have received following my presentation yesterday is that I neglected to mention that 20% of the new scientists that we have hired are women. This, of course, is a very important issue, and 20% is not enough. They're on the way. So let me correct that and add a women. That's, by the way, Danica Patrick, the #1 car driver, female car driver in the world. So, and as I said, now it's Yediot article, which you may have seen outside, which makes the point that it's not just bringing excellent people here, is bringing Israelis back to the country. So without further ado, I would like to invite the new scientists, or some of them at least, to come to the podium and say a few words about their own research and interests. So let's start with Rony Paz from the Department of Neurobiology.
Okay, so my name is Rony Paz, and 3 seconds, right? 30 seconds. 30 seconds, sorry, and I'm first, which is hard. So I came to Weizmann basically because I negotiated a wheelchair, some of those uncomfortable chairs. But I'm married to Neta. I have 2 kids, 8 months and 2.5 years. And we came back mainly because of kids, family. And coming here, Weizmann is definitely, I think, the best scientific place, at least for my field of research. So that's why I'm here.
Hi. Yeah, I returned to Israel after 6 years in the US, in California, which is very tempting to stay there. But overall, I think it makes a very good feeling of coming back home for me, both professionally and like culturally or family-wise, because I grew up in Rehovot, incidentally. And also, so definitely family-wise, kids and grandparents and so on. And also professionally, I think, the department, at least in my area, is really top-notch. So it was a great opportunity to come back to Israel and especially to Weizmann and join the department here.
I also grew up here in Rehovot, and I did my PhD here at the Weizmann, and then I went to 4 years to Cambridge to do my postdoc. It was a very great experience to be in the UK and study there. But after 4 years, we felt it's time to be back home with our family, with friends, and we came back a year ago. I'm a mother of 3 children, 10, 7, and a year and a half. And I'm very happy that that my science is, I didn't have to compensate on my science, and I'm using high technology, which I have here at the Weizmann Institute.
Okay, I was not born in Israel. I was born in Ukraine and grew up in Siberia, and this is my second came to Weizmann. The first was in '96. I made my PhD here and then left for 6 years to the United States. I worked at Stony Brook University and then in Long Island at the Brookhaven National Lab. I do heavy ion physics at the accelerator. That was a great opportunity, but me and my family, we always thought that it's good to come back here, and here I am.
I was 4.5 years at the United States, and it was a great experience, but I really knew that I will come back at the moment I will have the choice to do so, really, because I love this country, I'm feeling home here. And what I discovered during the 3 months I'm here, that this is an excellent place to do the best science in the world, the best you can do in any other place in the world. And if you're looking for America, actually it's here. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Guy Shahal. I'm at the immunology department here, doing research on the immune system and how it can be used to fight cancer and other diseases. I spent 4 years in NYU in New York City, and there are many reasons I came back to Weizmann. Scientific excellence to start with, but one of the most important things is the feeling of a scientific community that is really unique to Weizmann, especially in Israel. I happen to live inside campus, and when I come back and spend some time with my kids at the playground in the scientist neighborhood, I can watch over them, and simultaneously I can talk with a mathematician and a physicist about how quantum physics affects genetics or something. So this is really unique, and I don't think you can find it in many places in the world.
Hi, so I'm Nir Friedman from immunology, and I'm married to Ofra. We have 3 kids, 5 years old and 2 years old twins that were born during the postdoc. I did my postdoc at Harvard University. We spent 4 years there, and we always knew that we would like to come back because we feel that this is home for us. personally, and also scientifically, I think in my field of research, this is maybe the best place in the world to be in. And an important thing is that interdisciplinary research is really easy to do here because of many reasons. And I think it's a very good example of how interdisciplinary research should be done. And that's why I'm here.
So I was born and raised in Tel Aviv and then contributed 6 years to the Israeli military, which I guess marks me as a patriot. But if you ask me why we came back after 2 years in Berkeley, is that because our parents wanted to see their grandson and we desperately needed a babysitter. But seriously, thanks to the contributions of people like you, I feel that I'm doing no compromise in coming here because I'm able to do top-notch science in the World League.
Hello. Actually, when I looked at the article at the Yediot, I had, I guess, the first experience of my words being put out of context because I was, when I was asked why I came here, my answer, my kind of instinctive was there was no option. Which I meant that we really didn't consider any because it was completely obvious that you know we are coming back. Anyway, I am also married. I have four kids. We live here at the institute, and I grew up actually academically in the institute. I started even as as an undergrad, doing some work for Professor Victor Schertz, and then grew up for my master's and PhD. And for me, this is home, the Weizmann Institute in Israel, and there was really no other way.
So speaking about home, I think we came back to Weizmann from New York, since this is probably the only research institute in the world that is very much similar to the kibbutz I grew up in northern Israel. So this is home. And speaking about excellence, I think that just look around here with all the friends here, the ability to freely discuss all aspects of science and do freely science that combine, in my case, mathematics and biology, cancer research and computer science. This is really unique to here. There is no other place where you can so freely communicate with your fellows and try to bring things forward. So this is why we came here.
I moved from physics into science education when I realized that while scientists had developed excellent ways to make sense of the material world, we really knew very little about how to help others master and understand these fields. Science education I feel it's really in its infancy. We have no foundational theories, and anything we do is really a breakthrough in the field. I came to Weizmann after being on the faculty at Michigan in the United States because I felt that this institute really was far-reaching in its vision. It's embraced what is perhaps best said by was best said by Confucius, that he said that if your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 5 years, plant trees. And if your plan is for 50 years, educate children. And I felt that this is a place that really embraced that philosophy, and I hope that with your help it will continue doing so.
I grew up academically in physics and computer science, and then I switched to neuroscience, and I came to Weizmann after 5 years at Princeton. And as a theorist, this is a fantastic place for me to play around with experimentalists, and there's very few places like this. And just to make it more personal, when deciding to come here, we came here with the kids, and my 4-year-old walked around very quietly for half an hour, and then she said, "This looks like a very nice place. They made an effort. You should work here." And that was
Hi, so my name is Gilad Perez. After 3 years in Berkeley, I became assistant professor and spent time at Stony Brook, Harvard, and BU. And then we also have a 2-year-old daughter. Actually, Friday, it's going to be her 2-year-old birthday. But to throw another aspect, so I'm a theorist. We don't have, I don't have a lab or laser. Stand up. Okay. And so one thing which I think is really wonderful here, and I remember it as being a grad student here, is the fact that we don't work with the equipment, we work with people, and the students here, the student body here is just amazing. So the atmosphere, the non-hierarchy structure, and the dynamical, and the fact that students are mature means that the research is just amazing, and it's pure joy.
Hi, my name is Shahal llani. I joined the physics faculty recently. I'm working on small molecular electronics devices like carbon nanotubes, trying to understand their physics. I came here after 4 years in Cornell and joined the physics department. And the main reason that I came here is that I love Weizmann. I used to be a student here, and I never found anywhere in the world an environment like here at Weizmann, both scientifically and personally. And I'm really grateful that I got the opportunity to do the science that I like here and the quality and level that I like here. And that's the most important thing to me, to come here.
My name is Nirit Dudovich from the Faculty of Physics. I joined the faculty about a year and a half ago, after spending 3 years in Ottawa in Canada for my postdoc research. My research focuses on very fast phenomena on atomic and molecular scale. And only after living in Canada and performing academic research, I learned to appreciate the academic level here in Israel. I learned to appreciate what it is to be an Israeli. And there it was obvious that we want to go back, and here I want to do my academic research and raise my kids.
Hi, I just came back from Caltech, and I'm starting a quantum optics lab here at the chemical physics department. And for me as well, I did not consider any other option but to come back to Israel. It's not only because I'm very Israeli, like many around here. I spent many years in the military and in the defense system, but if I'm trying to pinpoint the reason is because I missed the Israeli friendship and the level of commitment that I found in Israel. And I worked really hard in Caltech, and I really missed having wonderful friends around me, and even every average Israeli would help me much more than any average colleagues around me anywhere else in the world, I think. And I have 2 kids, and they enjoy it here as well. And why coming to the Weizmann Institute? Well, I think that here in Israel, it's definitely the NBA, of experimental research, and the support that I got here will allow me to build a lab which will be at, in fact, higher standard than I had in Caltech, certainly worldwide, and I'm enjoying it here.
Hi, I'm a physicist. I do experimental quantum information science. I did my graduate school here at the Weizmann. Then as a postdoc, my family and myself spent 3 wonderful years in Colorado. But then when the time arrived and we had to make a decision whether to stay in the US or to come back to Israel, we realized that we really want to come back here. And I think the reason for that really boils down to the fact that we feel Israel is our home. This is where our family is. This is where our friends are. This is where we want our kids to grow up. This is where our heart is. So therefore, we decided to come back. And I think from an academic point of view, Israel in general and the Weizmann Institute is, in particular is a great choice. And there are many reasons for that. One main reason is the fact that there is a huge concentration of highly talented and creative and extremely smart young men and women to work with. So it's really easy to get very good students and to have great minds to exchange ideas with. And that's one of the merits that a scientist would always look for in a place to work. So that's why we're here.
Hello, my name is Oren, and my research focuses on understanding how the brain develops, and I use fruit flies in my research. If I had to choose a single word to describe the reason why we decided to come back here from Stanford, it would be the word home. And sometimes I find it even difficult to explain to myself why I call this somewhat crazy place home, but for my kids, having their grandparents around is being home. And feeling home can be as simple as having good hummus for lunch, And on a much grander scale, it is the fact that here at the Weizmann Institute, everyone, starting from Danielle, the president, all the way to Oa, the lady who cleans my lab, really does their best to make this place really feel like my new home.
Hi, I'm Avraham. I grew up and did my PhD in Jerusalem. And then I moved to Stanford University and spent 6 wonderful years there doing research on brain development. And I guess the reason I decided to move to the Weizmann Institute is mainly scientific excellence. And this is driven by 2 factors. One is the amazing community that we have here, that we can exchange ideas freely without the fear of competition and so on. And we all, young scientists, know each other not just from this podium, but also we visit each other's lab and exchange ideas. And the other is that's driven to excellence. And by that I mean that we get all the infrastructure and all what we need to do the best science. And if I continue to compare myself to my friends that I left behind in the US, I can say that we're doing here just as well as they do in the best universities in the US.
Hi, I'm Dan. Actually, I started my career at Weizmann about 25 years ago in the Youth Activities Unit. I'm a native of Rehovot, and I've been here on and off during my, so I did my undergrad elsewhere, I did my graduate studies here. I moved for a postdoc in Jerusalem, which is arguably more outside this world than, say, New York or Boston. But really, choosing Weizmann was a natural choice for me because this place has been home for me for such a long time.
Hi, I'm Nachum Ulanovsky, also known here on campus as Batman, because I use bats as animal models for studying neural basis of memory in mammals. And coming to this campus is really like coming home for me, because there's several people here. I grew up in Rehovot. I know Robi and Michal from when we were kids. I was even with Michal in the same class in high school. And one aspect I should mention is that as a kid, I took many courses for science courses for kids here on campus. You know, there's a Young at Science operation here, and really you should know that becoming a scientist does not start at undergrad or graduate level. It starts when you're a little kid. So this is another thing that the Weizmann is doing. And as many other people said here, really the reason for coming back to Israel for my wife and our kids is that we love this country, and that's where we feel most comfortable, the warmness of the people, and on the other hand is really scientifically the superb quality. The neurobiology department here is one of the leading departments in the world, so I can build my dream lab and do my dream research, so thank you.
So, Eran Hornstein, indeed, from molecular genetics. I think I share the personal motivation with many others you just heard. Home is a lovely definition. Professionally, I did a postdoctoral fellowship in Harvard Medical School focusing on genetics and developmental biology, and before that, I did an MD PhD training in the Hebrew University, and my research program these days tries to bring those two together, and I focus on a new set of genes called microRNAs and their relevance to development and human diseases such as osteoporosis, diabetes mellitus, and neurodegeneration. Thank you.
Hi. So it appears I'm the last one, so I have to say something new that nobody else says, which of course I can. Well, unlike everybody else here, I'm an astronomer. I do astrophysics. I'm the first one at the Institute to do that. So I have something to say. Everything else is the same. I feel it's my home and it's an excellent place and so on. And we feel great support from the administration and the people that work to make our life easier. And that's it, I tell you. I thank you all for your support of the Institute, and return the microphone to you.
Well, thank you all. The two take-home lessons that I'm getting here is that we should invest more in the grandparents and in Rehovot high schools. Now, I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Michal Sharon, till a few weeks ago from UCSF, now from the Weizmann Institute, to say a few words on behalf of all the new recruits.
Good morning. I was asked to say a couple of words on behalf of all the new recruits, but after hearing all of them, I feel like my personal speech really does represent every single one of the people sitting here. And I know you've all heard many thank yous over the last couple of days, but I feel truly grateful for having the chance to give you my own personal thank you. You see, 3 months ago, Oren, that you've heard, and I returned from our postdoc in San Francisco. And I really loved San Francisco. It's a great city. But the truth is that not a day went by where I didn't miss Israel. I missed my parents. I missed my family. I missed my friends. I missed speaking Hebrew all day. I missed the Jewish holidays. I missed Israeli food in the supermarket and Israeli songs on the radio. I missed the interaction with Israeli people. And all around me, every single Israeli I met was homesick too. But the sad thing was that many of them will end up not returning home. And that is because returning here for them would mean a compromise, financial or professional. And so I feel so lucky to be a part of the Weizmann family. Because for me, the Weizmann Institute means that I never have to make a compromise. I can do my research in one of the top research institutes in the world and not lose my identity. I can be an Israeli, and more important than that, I can raise my children as Israelis. And the way I raise my children is very, very important to me. I have 2 sons, Daniel and Noam. And I still remember the day that Daniel was born. It was 6 years ago. I was just finishing my graduate career and kind of embarking off on my postdoc. And I held him in my arms and I promised to myself that I would never, ever let the fact that I'm such a dedicated scientist come in the way of being the best mother that I could be. And that I would never let the fact that I'm a mother come in the way of being a good scientist. Well, I guess it's one of those promises you make to yourself when you're hormonally unstable, because I spent the next 5 years literally killing myself in order to keep that promise. But in the past couple of months since we've been back here, everything has changed. I mean, everything seems doable suddenly. And that's because the Weizmann Institute doesn't just talk about feminism or family values. It represents them in every concept, in every part of its function. There's so many examples, but I will give you just 2. The fact that housing is here on site means that I save hours a day on commuting, hours that I can spend with my children at home or with my children in the lab, my students that need my time for mentoring. And the fact that we have fabulous daycares here on site. I mean, you should visit them if you haven't. They're really extraordinary. My son just hops all the way smiling every morning, and I know that when I leave him there, he's going to have a day full of adventure and love and warmth and education and everything that a child his age needs to blossom. And I don't have to spend a second of my time during the day or a neuron in my brain to worry about how he's going to be, and that means I can focus on my science. And so I guess what I'm trying to say, in not so many words, is that for me being a scientist is not a profession. It's part of who I am, just like being an Israeli and a mother. And the beautiful thing about the Weizmann Institute is that it lets me be that person with no compromises. And so much of that is thanks to you. Your time, your dedication, your thoughts, your goodwill, your love. And for that, I really want to thank you.